Hope you're doing good. Micah back with another video. Back here to talk about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold6 in its supreme glory. Yes, I have been enjoying this device over the course of this last week, if you will. Technically, it'll be a week when this uploads, but I'm shooting this maybe like a day before, so it's really about 5-6 days, but nonetheless a week. And what are my thoughts about this device? Well, believe it or not, before we get into like a lot of my major thoughts overall, I want to talk about this case because this case is going to lead me into what I want to talk about. First of all, Samsung has a phenomenal case here with the S Pen case. I find this case to be very, very suitable, very, very good in the hands, very protective, and very, very stylish for the Galaxy Z Fold 6, minus the front piece. Now, with that being said, this front piece actually grew on me, and I actually don't mind this front piece. It actually looks and feels pretty good, doesn't really get in the way of overall use, and this case, of course, allows you to open the device to be able to use it the way you want to. That's something that's very easy, and I've been practicing different ways of course, closing the device, both pushing on the hinge here at the bottom to close it. That's Exhibit A. You have it open, and then you kind of lightly press on the inside. That's Exhibit B. And then there's the one-handed, it's open, press on the outside with the light press on the inside for Exhibit C. So this case makes a lot of that usable. It makes a lot of that easier just because of some of the added weight on it. And I really enjoy this case. And with it providing the actual S Pen, I find this to also be probably the most attractive part about this case is being able to use the S Pen when you're inside operating and using your device. Here's the problem though, and this is what I don't like about this case, is that it is dependent on the S Pen, meaning that you're probably not going to rock this case if you're not going to use the S Pen because of that slot in the back. Yes, if you consider the back of it has the S Pen part there, you need that. And if you don't need it, then of course get a different case that does not have the S Pen slot, because this case is specifically really built for the S Pen. And because of that, it makes it hard to want to use this case long term, because for me personally, I don't use the S Pen all that much. There are specific scenarios, use cases where I can use the S Pen. And if I'm at home, I don't really need to use the case or have the case installed on the Galaxy Z Fold 6 in order to use the S Pen. I could just grab the S Pen from the case itself, use it on my Z Fold 6, and then keep it pushing. That's one of the things that makes this so interesting about this case, because as good as it is and as nice as this gray color is for this S Pen case, it also can be in the way. And what I mean by that is there's now a slightly more gap in between the device as a result of this case. And so that's one of the other reasons why I may forego using the case, because even though you could argue is negligible, one of the selling points of the Z Fold 6, of course, is the fact that there is seamlessly no gap now in between the display on the inside when folded shut. And so here on live, despite my adhesive also holding up very, very well on this case, I am going to uninstall this case off of my Z Fold 6, and you guys get to see this here. Now, side note, not rocking the front piece still makes this case usable to use, at least for the back, because that's really what you're protecting, is the back, and or using this case to house the S Pen. But even looking at it like this looks so much better as well, just because a lot of cases or case companies really just make a case for the back anyway. Slimmer than this, of course, but nonetheless, just a case for the back as opposed to interfering with the front and the usage of your cover screen. And the main reason why I had to take off this beautiful case, that again, people also sleep on the fact that you get very nice, beautiful ring protection for the camera as well. The reason why I had to take the case off, at least for now, is because it hides this beautiful white. The main selling point for this is the color, and well, I won't say the main, I'm slipping up there, but one of the bonuses is having this very, very beautiful, sleek white color. And although the case does kind of, soften the edges just a little bit, it's really just the hinge edges there. It still feels good. It feels prominent like it should in the hand. And that is the reason why I had to forego using this case long term, or in other words, using it on a regular daily basis. It most definitely will be a case that I use because of the S Pen. But if there's other cases available that are, if not thinner, still provide S Pen storage, and I can do that, I may try that as well. But do not sleep on Samsung's S Pen case because it is still really good. It's still very solid, and I can still recommend it. Just for me, you guys know on this channel, I don't rock a lot of cases like that, right? And as you saw in the beginning of the video, the case was, or the phone was facing down because I had that protection on the screen. One of the reasons why I do a good job of protecting and keeping my devices in good shape is because I'm mindful, I'm very demure with where I place my devices and how I actually place them. And my phones are usually laying like this somewhere. Just like that. That way I don't damage my front display. I don't get any minor scratches and all that type of stuff. I allow the camera rings to protect the device basically. And I also try to be as mindful as possible when it's in my pocket, when I'm getting in and out of certain areas, keeping note of the phone slipping out of my pocket. And so this leads me straight into the hardware. And what I have admired so much is how much they were able to package into this device, being around 12 millimeters in size. Yes, we know that Samsung may have some form of an ultra version coming, or slim edition, or limited edition Galaxy Z Fold 6, if it's even going to be called that. It could be called the Galaxy Z Fold Ultra for all we know. But we do know that we have something like that coming here soon, and that's going to slim this down even more from 12 millimeters to 10 millimeters. And then unfolded, you're looking at this going from where it's at now, which is around, I think, 6 millimeters to 4.9 millimeters if the rumors are true. So you're looking at a much slimmer device, much slimmer profile with the next iteration or upcoming Fold device that may or may not launch in October of 2024. As we're recording on this video, it's September 23rd. But for me, I didn't pay attention to none of that. I wanted to get me the Z Fold 6 to see Samsung's vision for the foldable market. And in terms of hardware, I think this is a stunning device. I think Samsung has been doing a right thing here, making iterative updates, adjusting, fine-tuning aspects of the design of the hardware. So that way, once that's down packed, the really only differences that they will make going forward is really the camera hardware and potentially boosting the display quality. That's one thing I could think of. And then maybe just slimming down the profile as much as possible and integrating the S Pen into the body. Now, if it's going to get slimmer, that's going to be hard to do. That's why my suggestion would be to maybe only thicken one side of the device up, meaning when it's open, only have the back portion where the camera is, so this right side of the display, have that side thicker to be able to house the S Pen, so that way we don't have to rely on a case for the S Pen, and then allow this side of the device, or the left side here, to actually house nothing and actually be the thinner side. It's all, when we're talking about handability, when we're talking about handonomics, when we're talking about table placement or flat surface placement, it already leans and rocks, right? You already get that with this device. So what difference does it make if they actually just thicken up only half of the phone in order to appease or satisfy us as the consumers, our desires for their hardware and to be able to use their products? I think that's a very, very good idea from a hardware perspective, because it will work. We won't lose any speaker quality because the speakers on this thing are phenomenal. They are very, very good. And as I've highlighted, the speaker quality continues to amaze me, because even when listening to voicemails, my little voicemail lady does not sound crazy, distorted and tinty, and sounds like the speakers are bad. Everything sounds really good coming out of this device. And that's something that I definitely appreciate from Samsung. Software. What about software? One of the things that software gets right, and I think a couple other Android OEMs gets right, except for Google, is the fact that Samsung treats the cover display separate from the inner display or the main screen. So the cover screen versus the main screen, you can have your own setup here. You can have a different wallpaper here than on the inside. You can have a complete different layout here. And then when you open up, it will look different. And as you guys can see, I actually am maintaining more of a similar theme for my phone. The only thing you can't change in two different places, of course, is your icon pack because that's system level. However, you see how much more I can add. I added 2 widgets there. I added this full widget here that I can swipe through and actually change what I want this widget to look like at any given moment, right? I love this one as well. This actually works with my aesthetic as well. So I might leave that right there. I have so many options here on the main screen because it is treated differently than my cover screen. And the way the fingerprint sensor works is also aligned the same way. From a software perspective, you can assign your fingerprint to unlock when you just press on it to open the cover screen and or the main screen, or none of it, or which means based on you pressing it and then activating the fingerprint. For me though, I don't have it active on my cover screen because where they place the fingerprint sensor is a beautiful, wonderful spot. However, you just naturally rest your finger there too. So I was constantly turning my screen on and I didn't want to do that. So I had to cut power from that perspective. And now it only is available when I'm on the inside. So if I go ahead and hit the screen off, if I lightly press, it will turn on my main screen. That's what I wanted to do with my phone, my device, so that way I'm not constantly cutting it on and off in my pocket, you know, and then stuff starts moving around, accidentally deleting, calling people, all that fun stuff. So I eliminated that. But Samsung gives us the ability to do that, and that's what's so honorable, admirable from Samsung's software perspective and approach with the foldable is that the cover screen is its own device, the main screen is its own device. I like the fact that on the cover screen you can do certain typing activity, but then what the cover screen is meant for you to do is to unfold the device and use it that way. And man, when I tell you, once you kind of accept that, you start realizing and growing an even greater appreciation for using the tablet-like style approach. The 7-point-inch size display in here, being able to operate a lot of different things, be able to access more content, being able to take advantage of the display. And I hope more apps continue to optimize and actually, you know, embrace the foldable market. But even as is now, just being able to get more access to content on the page within your main screen is something that is very, very good, very cool. It's so much fun watching videos on this. This is something that I really, really enjoy. And a device I can use to edit my thumbnails now because of the S Pen and the screen real estate, something that I thoroughly, thoroughly appreciate from Samsung with the Galaxy Z Fold6. The software is good, but we also know that there's inconsistencies within Samsung's settings alone that shows that Samsung needs to continue to improve their approach to make sure everything is cohesive between the cover screen and the main screen of the device. So with all that being said, when it comes to the cases, and right now I thankfully was able to show you Samsung's first party approach, which so far with just one case has been great despite my little small nitpicks. I've talked about the hardware and how it feels very cohesive as a device 6 generations in for the Fold series. We talked about software and how it feels more and more unison with Samsung's Samsung's vision for the foldable market. And of course, there's always room for improvement. But with all those pieces summed together, how is battery life? Because of the profile, they can't fit a 5,000 milliamp in here quite yet. That's where, again, if they thicken the device, thicken the backside to allow for the S Pen and for greater battery, I think we would not complain about that. I think we would all be happy because our foldables will last a lot longer. Sounds like I'm digressing, doesn't it? No, it's not. It's another point of concern and or advice for Samsung when it comes to the battery life. With that being said, let's jump into settings and let's jump into battery to actually check and see. As you see here, I have 90% available. I took it off the charger about an hour and a half ago, maybe. It should maybe even say. But as you see, it says I'm getting a day and 4 hours left. and it says a full charge will last about a day and 7 hours. And as you guys can see, I took it off. Oh yeah, I stopped charging 3 hours, 16 minutes ago. So I lied. It was 3 hours ago I took it off the charger. And right now, right on par, it's around a day and 7 hours. I use adaptive battery protection. And if you guys don't know what that is, adaptive, use maximum while you're asleep and switch to basic before you wake up. Sleep time is estimated based on your phone usage patterns. And so as it has understood my patterns for using this, as you guys can see right now, Lightroom has some usage, YouTube and One UI Home. And YouTube is going to be the biggest source because that's where I watch a lot of my videos, which is on this device here, unfolded. I watched it on the cover screen briefly just because I wanted to watch something real quick and I didn't feel the need to actually have to unfold and really be lost in that world of the video. The cover screen worked in that moment, but I definitely enjoy unfolding this and using this device as is because that's what it's made for. It's made to unfold and use the device. And I think sometimes it's hard for us to accept that as consumers. We want everything to be accessible on the outside, but that's not the point of getting the phone. If you wanted the outside of the phone so bad, just get a slab device. Just get a basic phone, right? The iPhone, the Galaxy S series, the A series, anything but a flip foldable, because the point of those phones is to unfold and experience new technology in that way. Experience being able to take your phablet with you, take your phone/tablet with you, and still be able to get access to whatever information you need at a much better glance. And that's where my battery life has been surprising me and actually doing pretty good. I know I always hear people talk about their battery life, how it's not good. The 44 milliamp battery as of right now has been doing pretty good. And I make excuses to open this device. I want to look something up on Samsung internet real quick. I want to use Google over here, do some research real quick. I want to watch some YouTube videos real quick. I want to just play around on my phone. And again, maybe it's the honeymoon phase, but even in this honeymoon phase, I have not had any problems with battery life as it learned my usage. And you holding this device has been also great. I've had no problems holding it. I flip it like this when I'm watching video because the speakers are at top and a lot easier to blast great quality sound out of. So if I'm holding it like this, my hands won't be covering the speakers down low. That's why I hold it with the power and volume rocker facing down, so that way I can enjoy videos if I need that much more video aspect ratio from what I'm watching. But sometimes just watching it like this still works. Right. So again, it's playing around with the device and understanding and learning it. And I can say after a week so far, I have been thoroughly enjoying the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold6. I will be bringing you my setup, how I set my device up. And if you guys haven't already, you guys know I have videos on the channel already in terms of how to set up my Galaxy S24 Plus, my iPhone, how to use Good Lock. I have all that on the channel. So when I do my setup video for this, I'm probably going to be a little bit more brief as to how I set up certain aspects of the phone, because I already have videos up showing in detail, tutorializing how to set up specific features and functions. So look forward to that. And I almost dropped it right there. That's where the case comes in handy, being able to open this, right? That's just, you know what I'm saying? But let me know down in the comment section below, what are you guys' thoughts on the Galaxy Z Fold 6? Are you guys big case users? What do you guys think about the hardware, the software, the battery life? The comment section is open for discussion. Again, as always, you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, notification bell. It's all free. That way it's for videos, so that way you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. And don't forget to hit that super thanks button down there by the like and dislike button, Cash App and PayPal, and check the channel out for all the videos available to you. That's where to keep tech fresh and alive on this channel. So man, Micah signing out, and until the next video, wait for it.